Hi class, I hope you are all doing well. And once again, here is my husband. He is my audience and the one videotaping me for this speech. So today I'm going to inform you about the culture differences in driving from Korea and America, because the driving differences here are one of my biggest pet peeves and one of my most terrifying moments while being here in Korea. We all know that Martin Luther King Jr. is a phenomenal speech person, and he always has such brilliant things to say. So I was looking up a quote from him, and I couldn't find the exact speech that he had given this quote for. However, I did come across it on brainyquotes.com, but I want to share it because I think that it really goes well with the whole driving that takes place here in Korea. So Martin Luther King Jr. says, "Law and order exists for the purpose of establishing justice, and when they fail in this purpose, they become the dangerously dams that block the flow of social progress." Driving here, there's a constant block and flow anytime you get behind the wheel here in Korea. All of my statistics today were pulled from the Traffic Accident Analysis System, PDF 2012. I will also be referring to that as TAS. And unfortunately, the latest I could find was 2012, but from other people who I've spoken with, not much has changed. And if things have gotten better, it's been very little. So according to TAS 2012, Korea had 18,870,533 vehicles registered. Now that was 18 million vehicles registered to about a 50 million population at that time. During that time, there were 223,656 accidents, including vehicles, all vehicles except for motorcycles, when we will get to that in a bit. Drivers in Seoul are awful, and they avoid all traffic laws if they can. One of the examples to this is red lights. Many times red lights become very optional to drivers. If they believe that they can make it without being injured, killed, or anything else, then they will run the red light. Not only does this cause risk for accidents, but most of the time when you have the cars trying to jet through a red light, cars now are backed up into the intersection, and it causes a lot of confusion, especially for the oncoming traffic that have the green lights. Another one is that no one ever uses their turn signals here. If you do see someone using their turn signal, you can look over, and it's pretty much always an American. The lane dividers for the traffic don't get followed either, and this is where the turn signals become a huge issue, because you can be on a 2-lane stretch of road, and on any given day, any given time, that 2-lane road somehow becomes a 3-lane, and everyone will muscle their way in there, and they will do whatever it takes to get into the correct lane that they want to be in. As long as that car, even the car who's muscling their way in, is in front of you by an inch, if there is an accident, it is now your fault, even if you are doing the correct thing the entire time. 1 inch in front always will win out here in Korea. So you can see that between the lane separations, no turn signals, running red lights, and the numerous other traffic laws that are getting broken are reasons for all those accidents. Now, my biggest pet peeve here in Korea is the motorcycles, so let's talk about that. In 2012, again from TAS, there were 2,093,466 accidents just from the motorcycles alone. Much like the other vehicles that are on the road, motorcycles do not follow the road laws. However, they are, in my opinion, 10 times worse. Motorcycles will weave into oncoming traffic just to get around that slowing traffic, and they figure the other car is the one who need to watch out for them, that they are not the ones who need to watch out for the oncoming traffic for some reason. They also carry very heavy loads. I have seen them carry serious household appliances on the back of their motorcycles. In America, you do not see that. Not only does this distract all the drivers around them, but it also obscures their view to see that traffic that is coming up upon them, so they will quickly jet in your lane without even paying attention to who's coming. Another one is that they don't ever wear safety protection. It's very rare. It technically is allowed to wear helmets here in Korea. However, it's very rare if you actually see that happening. You'll see a lot of them in the shorts, t-shirts, sandals, no helmet, and as anyone who's ever ridden a bike knows that that is not good attire to be wearing. Now the biggest one out of all of them is sidewalk injuries. In 2012, TASS reported that there was 2,399 pedestrians that were killed or injured just by walking on the sidewalk. This is a very big one because just since I have been here in late 2013, there have been plenty of times where I've walked my child down the sidewalk and have had a motorcycle beeping his horn at me on the sidewalk to get out of his way so he can continue driving. They will drive on the sidewalk to avoid red lights, to avoid traffic jams, anything that's going to slow them down. They will hop on the nearest sidewalk and they will go. And you better move out of their way because they're not moving out of yours. So the picture that you just saw is actually a picture that was recently taken when we went down to the Namdaemun shopping district. This is an average shopping day, very crowded, people are everywhere, and so is the traffic. There was uncounted amount of motorcycles who had made their way through this traffic. There were also a few cars who had muscled their way through the traffic. And again, you better watch your toes because they're not going to watch out for you. They're bigger than you and they believe they have the right of way. So just from the information that I have given you, you can tell that driving is not an easy task here in South Korea, specifically Seoul, because that's what I'm used to. I noticed from my first couple of days here that this would not be an easy task, and public transportation has become my best friend. It's very cheap here and I love it here. So that is usually my safest route for any traveling that I do. So I hope and I would invite everybody out to South Korea to visit or even to live. It's a great experience, but please be prepared to drive in this crazy traffic.